The Formula One circus has arrived in Barcelona, and with it, one of the most highly rumored technical shakeups of the year. The front wing saga is at last receiving resolution, and what unfolds this weekend may well overthrow the competitive equilibrium of the grid entirely. The Formula One caravan has arrived in Barcelona, and this weekend might just mark a turning point in the championship. Why? Because the long-anticipated front wing regulation is finally coming into effect, and it's poised to disrupt the pecking order we've come to know over the first 8 races. The FIA is imposing a stricter limit on front wing flexibility allowed. In the past, teams were permitted as much as 15 millimeters of deflection. From Barcelona on, that comes down to a mere 10 millimeters. Now, 5 millimeters may not seem like a lot, but in the hyper-tolerant universe of Formula One, it can be the difference between dominating the race and barely qualifying out of Q2. This rule, known formally as Technical Directive 018, is the second significant aerodynamic crackdown of the season. Previously, we've witnessed comparable examination of rear wings in China. This time, however, it's the front of the car, the initial part of the vehicle to engage with airflow, and arguably the most vital for overall aero performance. The transition has taken ages. Once the early races, most notably in Australia, had been run, the FIA started to suspect that certain teams were taking advantage of flexibility in a way that was blurring the distinction between smart engineering and rule grey areas. But front wings are much trickier to redesign compared to rear wings. That's why the teams have been allowed a 4-month grace period to adapt to the new tests. And now, the grace period is ending. From now on, the category will be put through tougher flexibility testing. The aim: to bridge the gap between cars and stop people getting an unfair advantage via wing deflection. But don't get it wrong, this isn't a case of saying previous designs are illegal. It's about drawing a new line of what's acceptable in the future. Among the squads that might get bitten by this regulation is McLaren. Its MCL39 has performed well in low and mid-speed corners, a category that flexible front wings play a major role in. Side-by-side visual inspection of the front wings of Barcelona's top 4 competitors reveals distinct differences, particularly if you zoom in on deflection under load. And that's precisely why many reckon Barcelona may prove a game-changer. But how, exactly, does front wing flexibility influence the performance of a car? It all boils down to controlling drag and downforce. A stiffer front wing may enhance corner stability, but it creates drag, which takes away from top speed. Conversely, a more flexible wing can flatten out at high speeds to minimize drag and regain shape for downforce through corners. It's like having an active aerodynamic system, without actually bending the rules. That is, until now. Team bosses are following the Barcelona Grand Prix with bated breath. Mercedes chief Toto Wolff thinks the one team that might gain most from this rule change is Ferrari. Ferrari has been decidedly conservative in its front and rear wing designs. That conservatism can now pay dividends as other teams have to tone down their flexibility. Wolff added, "I think Ferrari has been the most conservative with regard to flexi wings. With the new restrictions in place, the rest of the competition could be drawn closer to them. It might not fully shake the grid, but it will definitely introduce changes." Even Charles Leclerc conceded that Ferrari must get better around low-speed corners. Nevertheless, their Monaco performance there, second place, implies the deficit might not be as great as it appeared. Ferrari principal Frédéric Vasseur also shared similar sentiments. He confirmed that Ferrari has been gearing up for the front wing regulation for a long time. Upgrades originally scheduled for Imola have been spread out and developed over the triple header, with the last pieces being introduced in Barcelona. Vasseur said, "Barcelona has always been a key race. We've spent months working on this new front wing regulation. It might change everything, or nothing. The truth is, we won't know until qualifying. But we've set ourselves up to adapt as quickly as possible." Red Bull, also a vocal opponent of front wing flexibility, thinks this regulation could even the playing ground, particularly for Max Verstappen. At the moment, the gap between P1 and P3 in the Drivers' Championship is only 25 points. Verstappen has consistently shown that he does not require the quickest car to triumph, but this rule could put him at a much-needed advantage. Red Bull's Jonathan Wheatley explained, "We're heading back to high-speed circuits where car performance really matters. The front wing change may not completely disrupt the order, but it will affect each team differently. We're not sure how others will respond, but we've prepared for every scenario." Despite these concerns, McLaren boss Andrea Stella appears unfazed. In fact, he believes the focus on McLaren's front wing flexibility might be misplaced, and is helping them stay ahead. Stella commented, It's actually a good thing when rivals focus on something that isn't even the core reason we're competitive. If anything, it's helping our campaign. The front wing has less to do with our performance than people think. Interestingly, this sentiment is echoed by former Aston Martin engineer and current Sky F1 pundit Bernie Collins. She points out that speculation is rampant, but actual data is scarce. We, the media and fans, have no way of knowing which teams are passing or failing the new flexibility tests until the FIA publishes its findings. Collins elaborated, the front wing is the first component that interacts with airflow. It influences everything downstream, from tire temperatures to brake cooling. If a team struggles with degradation or loses straight-line speed, we'll know the front wing change had an impact. But until then, it's just guesswork. She also pointed out a curious timing anomaly. Just about the time the FIA reaffirmed the regulations on brake systems and tire cooling, McLaren started having trouble getting tires to last longer. That might imply the edge they had wasn't entirely aerodynamic, but maybe mechanical too. As the technical directive comes into force, all eyes will be on Thursday's paddock reveals. Teams will unveil their updated components, and we'll finally see who's taken a conservative route, and who's gambled on a more aggressive design. The question on everyone's mind is, will someone suffer from faster tire wear? Will straight-line speed suffer? Will Ferrari or even Red Bull be at the top again? Or will McLaren demonstrate that speed isn't based on flexible wings? Barcelona will be the acid test of these new rules. It's where technical theory meets racing reality. Barcelona is not merely the 9th round of the Formula One season, it's a watershed moment. With the new front wing regulation now fully in force, we may well be seeing the most spectacular overhaul of the 2025 calendar. But what do you believe? Will this rule harmonize the playing field? Or will it expose greater realities about which teams have assembled the best package in total? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and be sure to watch the video on your screen at the moment for even more F1 insights.